JJ is joining us here live because he's a baller and he has a closing here at the title office. So welcome, JJ. Let me get rid of this little thing here.
Oh, screen.
So this is a first quarter review, second quarter adjustments, right? And what I'd like to do real quick is I'm going to go into highlights and lowlights, right? And I'm going to put Alan on the spot, and we're going to actually stop sharing so we could hear here. Alan, tell us about your first quarter. What were some highlights for you, and what were some lowlights?
Okay, yeah, sure. We're recording this, right?
yeah. So
Okay.
Whatever you want to share.
Low lights. Oh man. I'll start with the highlights, I guess. So as you probably know, Tony, I read the 12-week year, the end of last year, and I got really excited about that book. And it's a really good book, but I think it got me at the right time, and it allowed me to kind of simplify some of my goals that I had in each area of my business. And so I set 12-week goals in a couple of different categories. And one of them was to cap in 12 weeks. And I am basically a deal short of capping. So that's a huge plus. And then you probably know that I have an interest in, agent attraction, and JJ's here with us and JJ's group. That was a huge win, not just for our group, but for everybody here to become better, because he's a natural leader, really good educator about real estate. And JJ, you've kind of become like a mentor of mine too. And you have been, but more so now. So it's really cool to have him be part of the group. And I really don't want to go to anything negative. I haven't had any things that I've allowed me to drag down. And that's what I would share is, the faster you can get out of negativity or some sort of negative thought, the quicker you're going to get to better results. So if you're having like a down week or a down day, I just got off the phone with Michael about some of these things, and Jason in our group and others, like it happens so often. You have to intentionally get yourself out of those, those bad days or bad moments, because it's just going to hold you up. So the one, I guess, takeaway is that for me, just focusing on the daily process and not the product has been like a pretty big game changer for me. And I definitely recommend reading that book. So I guess that's my thing. Is that good enough, Tony?
That's perfect. Yeah, just little highlights, little lowlights. I'll go last and share mine on the next couple of slides here. But thanks for sharing, Alan.
I will.
Yeah, JJ, jump in.
So highlights. Finally came over to EXP after me and Alan been working on that for 7 months, 8 months. Then got my 11th FLQA in Q1. That was awesome. I'm learning KV Core with Andrew Marine. That was awesome. We capped in 5 weeks. That was awesome. Met this guy and did some trainings. That was awesome. Really no lowlights. Though, you know what? The only lowlight is that I found out today that I can't do transactions in KV Core, and so I have to keep Top Producer. I have to live in 2 CRMs, but that's like the most first world problem thing that anyone's ever heard in their entire life. That's actually a first world entrepreneurial problem. So if that's a low whatever, then I'm just trying to participate.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thanks for sharing, man. Rob, talk to us about your first quarter. You happy with where you're at? Highlights, lowlights.
Yeah, I got started off pretty good. I got a new construction house that's going to close May 17th, around 500. I got a listing from a friend of mine that was pretty cool. And just by meeting guys, and this is one of the cool things about meetings, me and Jason Ward were able to do an off market on a listing I had for a client that was elderly and having health issues. So we met at Lupe's, what was it now? Maybe about 3 weeks ago or so, maybe a month ago. And just by doing that and talking to other agents, man, we had a client that they've been losing out on offers. My client really didn't want to put their house on the market due to his cancer and health issues. So, hey, man, we got together and made it work, and we're actually going to be closing on that next Friday. I got another listing coming up, so things are going good. I just need Alan knows this. I just need to keep the momentum up. That's all. Now I got the momentum. I just need to keep it going.
Yeah,
So
sure.
and hit more. My goal is to well, again, you guys already know this, or maybe somebody of you guys don't know this. When you get more listings, it gives you the opportunity to talk to more agents. So on that listing that I had on 102 Bench Street, you know, I had like 8 offers. I call everybody back as a courtesy to let them know that they didn't get the offer. But it also allows me the opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about EXP if I can. I kind of feel it out depending how the conversation goes. And learned this from Melanie McCollum too is, hey, try to take everybody out to lunch. So I got hopefully 3 coffee dates with a couple agents that, you know, at least said yes, that they're willing to do coffee. So now I just got to follow up and do that. So
Gang, I'm taking that one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Thanks for sharing.
All right.
Hey, Michael White, do you mind sharing, you know, how was your first quarter? Highlights, lowlights.
My first quarter wasn't where I wanted it to be.
Okay.
I lost a lot of momentum. I was trying to work on continual education and some other things, but I'm getting it back now. I can say I learned some things. If I get into a place where I have to divide my attention, I can be a little more strategic so I don't lose momentum again. But you know, my second quarter is starting off a lot better. Gaining that momentum back. So all in all, I've learned a lot, and you know, take the negatives and turn them into positives and learn from them and grow from them basically. So doing a lot better so far. Second quarter, got a lot more potential clients in the pipeline, and I'm going to keep on building that momentum.
Yeah, no, that's what you need to do, and that sort of reflects kind of my lowlights, highlights, which we'll get to in a second. Thanks for sharing, man. I appreciate it. Hey, Eli, do you mind hopping on and sharing your quarter?
Sure. Yeah, I've been pretty happy with the first quarter. Just a lot of things that were extending from the previous year. You and I talked at length about some of the closings I was supposed to have in December that were just delayed. Usually, you know, mostly because of the appraisers, maybe some lender issues. So it just created an opportunity for me to really kind of look at what my part was and all that, and how I could remedy that or kind of be proactive to prevent some of those. But fortunately, we had those closing. The big positives are just really being very deliberate on asking for referrals, not just once, but really through the whole process of initially meeting somebody, working with them, reminding them, you know, you really compliment me by giving me a referral. So it's really worked. I had a had a listing in Kerrville, and they referred me to the neighbor across the road, and got to work with her. So I had two listings on the same street, and then had buyers. So worked the intermediary on both of those. And so just a really good start to the year.
Cool, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. Colin, you want to share any stuff that you're working on, highlights, lowlights?
Let's see. I started off pretty consistent, and like Michael said, and then over time I started to not follow what I was supposed to do. And I had a lot of individuals, but with the interest rates going up, it kind of just killed everything, with Frisco just being way over expensive. But I do have some good news. Just got a text that I got an investor to buy a lease option with one of my clients about 2 minutes ago. And then I'm also getting my Florida's license at the moment because my parents and mother-in-law is buying a house, wants to buy a house in Key West. So they said, why not just get it so we can go down and get one.
All right.
But I probably just need to be more consistent because I started off really strong and then it all just disappeared.
Yeah.
And I counted my blessings before they happened.
Yeah. No, that happens to a lot of people. So you're not alone. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. I noticed that on my meeting with the other agents with Sigmund that I keep on referring to. but like everybody was kind of in the same boat, and we kind of have to get back up. So yeah, thanks for sharing, man. Adolfo, you want to share anything?
Hear me? Hello?
Yep.
Are you hearing me?
Yep. We're
Oh,
good.
sorry. Yeah, I was. Yeah, my first quarter didn't go so good. I guess consistency and keeping up with follow-ups and challenging the people I'm meeting and I'm talking to, putting them on that drip campaign and that KV core, not utilizing it as much. So, but some things did go good. Like I've been getting a lot of feed off that. Facebook's been I've been getting a lot of touches on Facebook and a lot of people. I actually got a client that he's here in town now. So I'm hoping my second quarter is gonna start good because I have a VA buyer that I'm actually working on a contract right now for them. How was showing this morning, but like, yeah, my first one wasn't good, but my second one's doing more good. Gonna be more consistent and following through what I have planned out, and like sketching out what I'm gonna be doing and trying to stay with it more consistent than what I was before. So it's been going a little bit better. And like I said, Facebook's been more good for me because I get with those 5 homes, I get a lot of people that reach out to me and I follow up with them. Either they become renters or they become buyers, which is what's been happening, been coming out with me good. So I've been getting a lot of renters, and then I converted this one right here. It was a referral to me from someone who was doing real estate, but they were thinking about renting. So I was showing them rentals, but then I spoke to them, let them know the layout of the buying. I was in a face-to-face with them, and I got them to a lender, and I got them pre-approved. So now I'm working with them. So my second quarter starting out pretty good. I got 2 potential people looking to buy. So,
Cool.
yeah, so it's going pretty good.
Good. Thanks for sharing. That reminds me, there's last night after I sent out my email super late, I was really upset with myself that I sent out super late. All of a sudden I had some dude, and I give everybody their name when they call me. I save their number for everybody. This dude, Jesus Camacho, and I titled him CL Post, meaning Craigslist post. So that means I got this guy's contact information back in 2019. I haven't said a word to him, and now he wants me to follow up with him today, right, to get him pre-qualified and start looking to buy a house. And it's like all because of the weekly email, which we'll talk about in a second. It's like, wow, like that shit works. Like, so like those renters that you're getting, yeah, you're going, oh, it's a rental, it's only $200, it's $300, whatever. Like, put them in your database. Like, just start adding names to your database. So awesome job. Darlene, you want to hop on and share any highlights, lowlights?
Sure. Thanks, Tony. So this last quarter was my first quarter in the business. I think I had grander schemes than it has turned out to be, but I have learned a lot. I started doing the Miracle Morning. I read The Greatest Salesman and almost done with Ninja Selling. I did work with and am working with 2 buyers and a potential listing. I explored doing open houses, did a couple of open houses, and explored doing Facebook Marketplace. So I'm adding to my database from there, working on doing a mailing and a newsletter, starting up a newsletter to that database. So I'm starting to, I think, do the daily steps to get my business set up for success. It's just been a little slower than I had hoped.
Yeah, and NAR, National Association of Realtors, says it takes about 3 months to get a deal on average, right? So just, don't get discouraged. I remind everybody, I did 2 closings and 1 rental in my first 6 months of real estate. And I don't say that to discourage you. I just say, like, keep going. And you listen to all these entrepreneurs, it's like, don't give up, because you're right there. Like it's going to fall through. You just got to keep going. Christina, you want to hop on and share?
Yeah, it's definitely been a roller coaster this first quarter. I guess the highlight is getting my first closing. So yay. That was a long one in the making, but we got it done. And then the low light is my second one kind of blowing up. And it was really easy to like be really down about that when it was happening. But man, did I learn a lot, like so much from this deal. You know, we were like coasting and then it kind of just fell apart, and big learning experience. And my buyer's still like interested. We're still going to go look at houses. So I didn't lose my client. He still trusts me. It's all good. So
Yeah. No, that's the thing that I learned from Neil Mathwig and listening to his podcast. He goes, you're going to lose deals. We all lose deals. JJ, have you ever lost a deal?
We actually know we're going to lose deals. And so we put that into our business plan.
No, well, yeah. So like everybody loses deals. The most important thing is you try not to lose that relationship, right? So that buyer might back out or that seller might back out. Be like, hey, no problem. I understand you can't do it right now, whatever. Right. But we're going to stay in contact. We're going to keep that relationship going because guess what? They're going to come back around. All right. And when they do come back around, you need a paycheck. They need to get, you need to help them get their house sold or bought. So just hold on to those relationships and it'll come around. So that's awesome. I enjoyed that. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Went around the room. I want to do that a little bit more often. Everything's looking good. Let's go ahead and share the screen and kind of go back to these slides. This is going to be a little bit embarrassing, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways. My lowlights, all right? So I do all these trainings and I have all these ideas and you go, this guy must be killing it. I only had one closing in the first quarter, all right? And that is a little bit embarrassing, but I didn't do shit really in October, November, December, all right? I was traveling a lot. I wasn't working anything. I just kind of coasted. You know, I wasn't like in a low place. I was just doing other stuff and not focusing on money making activities, right? So I had one closing. It was a good, solid closing. But then on this Monday, you know, I turned in. I was like, okay, second quarter, things are firing. Everything's great. I was counting on a listing, and I found out that she went with another realtor on Monday. You know, $500,000 listing, gone. All right, that's $15,000 that I was kind of planning on having in my bank account. I'm like, damn, that one stung, right? It's like, and I had worked with her. I did some presentations that were good. I had a contractor come out and give some quotes, and then boom, out of the blue, it's like, what the fuck, all right? But it is what it is. I ran out of gas the last couple of weeks, so Alan and I kind of partnered up probably about October, November. We were reading the 12-week year. We kind of based our stuff around that and planning for our new year. But both of us kind of admitted that we started running out of gas maybe in the 9th, the 10th week. And it was really, really good in some areas, but started just kind of slowing down. I'm still needing more organization. And if you know me at all, I'm not a very organized person. All right. I do okay with some things. And, you know, but it's just not where I want it to be. All right. I'm easily distracted during working time. All right. So I have my work blocks and I get distracted with things. Things come up, whether it's working with another agent and helping them, whether it's not necessarily social media or anything. It's just things, right? Get you off track. Sometimes it's hard to get back on track. And I still haven't started video content. I really want to like make that part of my thing that I do, and I haven't done it. All right. So you have to do some reflecting, and I'm trying to do like almost daily reflecting and weekly reflecting. And you definitely want to do some reflecting towards the end of the quarter and make some adjustments going into the new quarter. Well, it's not all doom and gloom. Here's my highlights. All right. I did commit on January 10th to working out every single day when I wake up. Today's 88 consecutive days of working out every morning. All right. I'm the thinnest and the lowest weight I've been in years. All right. I feel great. And then on that same Monday that I lost that $500,000 listing, I picked up 4 referrals on Monday. All right. And I was like, well, okay, there you go. Like, just keep going. All right. I had 8 under contract and that one closed. So I still have 7 under contract and 3 listings by the end of the month. My first listing went live today. I have 2 more by the end of the month that will be going up that are all healthy. $500,000 on the next 2. And this one is 340. So pretty good. And really all of that was created in this first quarter. right? So technically I didn't have like sales in my first quarter and like closings and lots of money coming in. But what I've stacked up here, because of what I've been committed to and working in the first quarter, you're starting to see results, right? I've been very consistent with the Productive Agents group. All right, we do this every single week. We've been doing our happy hours. We've been doing our coffee and conversations. We're trying to elevate that and always tweak it to make it better and more attractive. And then helping mentees and sponsored agents. All right, I currently have 8 sponsored agents. And I actually have a couple. Darlene is one of my mentees. Right, so I'm trying to help them, understand the business, grow the business, what to focus on, what not to focus on. So I enjoy that and doing these teaching things. Lots of leads generated. And again, Facebook Marketplace, and I've talked to some of you individually, there's a lot of shit out there. There's a lot of just like bullshit. Like, dude, you could barely rent a place and you want to try to buy a $500,000, like it ain't happening, right? But you have to dig through the shit to get to the gold, all right? So definitely I'm getting these leads popping in, and a lead that I met this past weekend, they're selling their $500,000 Lavernia place and want to move to 600 plus up in Bernie or Bulverde, all right? So it's like, so you're telling me I'm going to make about $30,000, over $1 million in production from doing some Facebook Marketplace ads that are free? Like, okay, sign me up. Now it is a little time consuming responding to all those messages and finding the gold. But hell, it's $30,000 that I didn't have if I didn't do those Facebook Marketplace ads, right? And respond to those messages. My consistent weekly email, it's paying off. We got that from Ricky Caruth, and I didn't buy in for the longest time. I was like, whatever, it's an email, like it's a waste of time. It took some time to set it up. But then after that, I literally just copied the last one, changed the pictures, changed the articles, like I could do it within 30 minutes or less. Boom, it's sent out to over 500 people. And I'm trying to add more people to that database, so it's sent out to more, right? I consistently have 180 plus people open it, right? So it's not an incredibly successful open rate, but hey, 180 plus people are seeing every single Wednesday an email coming from me. Right? Is that going to pay off? Absolutely. Right? The guy that reached out to me last night, it's going to pay off. Right? And who knows who knows who he knows? Right? Because that can turn into a referral client, whatever it is. So pretty excited about that. I like this quote, and a lot of you know. Did y'all know that this guy was a band nerd? He was like 4-time All-Stater. Good Lord, what a monster on euphonium. But this comes from when I was teaching band. Mary Ellen Cabot at Texas State, she said, if you don't like how your band sounds, you have to look yourself in the mirror. All right. So same thing, right? You don't like what your business looks like. Well, whose fault is it? Is it the economy? Is it the interest rates? Is it, the market's crazy? Is it the crazy high prices? Every day, Ricky Cruz says this, every day houses are being closed on. Every single day in every single market. You've been around, and it comes and goes in big waves sometimes, but there's always closings.
2008 was brutal. This is fun.
Yeah, so like just what are you doing to grow your business, right? If you want more results, you got to fix the activities, right? That was like the last thing that Josh left us with in our meeting the other day. So you got to focus on that, right? So we went around the room, okay, and we all kind of said our ups and downs and what we're struggling with, what we're happy with, what we're not happy with. Does anybody want to share? And I'm going to call out on some people. Adjustments. Yeah, like what do you plan on? Like, okay, that was really good. Like I had a pretty good first quarter, but there's plenty of things that I can adjust to get better. All right, JJ, go.
So we're a big database team, and so all we do is events. We don't do any internet marketing. We don't do any Facebook ads. We don't do any of that stuff. So we're having an event this Saturday. It's an Easter egg hunt for children and adults. The adults are going to get the kids are going to get eggs and $20 bills. Doesn't matter. The adults are going to get liquor bottles, gift certificates. The grand prizes are a TV and a staycation at the JW Marriott. I have 113 RSVPs, which is actually in itself a nightmare. But the good thing about it is that during the calls that we're getting people there to invite them, and by the way, the entire it was all sponsored except for $300. So getting people there, while I was calling them to get people there, I got, well, my business partner got 4 residential listing appointments. He got 2 buyers that are actually pre-approved. I got 2 commercial leads, 1 that's a lease that I've already closed or wrote. And so my adjustment for Q2 is monthly events. There was a time in my career before COVID that I said monthly events like this. I've blamed COVID for not having them, and it's all in my head because it's gonna get wicked wild on Saturday. Everyone and their mom and their kids are coming for some Easter eggs, y'all. So my mental block for the last year and a half, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was just being lazy. I was like, oh, I can't have events anymore. It's COVID. No one cares. It's Texas. Like no one gives a hell. Like maybe they do in Connecticut, but in Texas, it's wilding out. And so my adjustment is a huge event every single month, and you're gonna watch me do it. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna prove it to you all. I'm gonna send you videos, but it's all now.
Dude, I love that. I told my wife that's something that I'm gearing up for in July. July will be my 3-year anniversary of being in real estate. So I want to start the podcast that we've been talking about, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And I want to do my first client event, right? Client appreciation event. I think that's awesome. Excited. Right on, man. Very cool. Thanks for sharing. Mark, you jumped in here. Thanks for being with us. We already talked about our highlights and our lowlights of our first quarter, what we're happy with, what we're not. And now we're talking about making adjustments going into our second quarter. I know you're making some adjustments. You want to talk and share anything?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, Tony knows this, so does Alan, but I always go through this once a year weirdness. Like I just hit it, go really hard. The last 2 years have been nonstop for me. So I've had my best 2 years, the last 2 years. And I just came off my best quarter. First quarter was the strongest one I've ever had. And I don't know why, tagging on what JJ said, in 2020, when COVID hit, I knew not to go into a funk. And I knew that during those times you just push forward. But for some reason, I gave myself permission to just stop. And I did. I just stopped. I just went into a funk. And it took a little bit for me to get out of that and push forward. And it seems like that time every year, kind of when spring hits, I kind of go through this whole self-reflection of, do I want to keep doing this like this? And I'm basically burnout. So my quest is always how do I keep from getting myself burned out? And for some reason, it takes a lot for me to figure that out. So my other thing is I'm wanting to move. I've brought some people into the company and I'm sharing some, I'll share stuff with them or let them take a deal and, as a referral, because I really want to start moving into growing my organization. JJ's inspired me with that. I mean, he's been here like, I don't know, a month and really grown his organization quickly. So I enjoy doing that. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy people seeing the opportunity to the model. And that's the shift I'm trying to make right now. And running into those same things we all do. I know a lot of people on the call are new to real estate. You run into those, well, JJ can do it, but I can't do it. Or he's already got, this, but I don't. It's just these limiting beliefs. It's the same thing with any business you have, whether it's, growing your organization or selling more houses. Anytime you move and make a change and you decide to grow in a different direction, you run into those, limiting beliefs. And that's what I'm going through with the little shift I'm making. Well, I'm not Mike Sherrard. I'm not young and hip and fit and whatever. But we all have our strengths and we all are who we are, and people respond to us all differently. So that's the shift I'm kind of making. But yeah, I would say I tend to have these peaks, and then I tend to have this valley each year. And I'm just kind of now coming off of my little valley, if you will. So that makes sense.
Cool, man. No, I appreciate you sharing. Eli, have you done some reflection and going, hey, I kind of want to tweak as I go forward, make adjustments?
Yeah, I get in this habit. I've had to really look at it, just being consistent with keeping that pipeline full, because you get busy working with buyers and sellers with active transactions. You start feeling good about what you've got going on. And then you kind of lighten up on the prospects, and then you start getting those closes, and then you look up and like, oh crap, I don't have a lot going on. So it's really getting back to those basics, really committing that time to, and I think a lot of it is mental too, because you get busy and you're like, you don't want to add to it. So I think part of that too is just really becoming more organized. I brought in a transaction coordinator that I think is really, really going to help me on that side. And so basically not being afraid to pick up more business, or at least doing those activities that are going to bring those soft prospects to active buyers or sellers.
Yeah, no, I like that. Same thing. What's funny is I was looking at my hot warm list, and I had that one closing. So I moved them into my closed tab, and I had 8, and I kept on staring at these 8 under contract, and it went down to 7, and it kind of freaked me out for a second. I was like, oh damn, I need more under contract, So yeah, I know that exact same feeling, So yeah, don't get busy, and especially newer agents that have like, hey, I'm working with 2 or 3 buyers. That's awesome. That's great. Make sure that they have what they need. Stay in contact with them at least weekly, if not multiple times a week. But you have to go get more, all right? Because you're going to close those hopefully, all right? And you're going to go, awesome, cool, I got paid. And then you're going to wake up the next day and go, who the hell am I going to work with next? All right. And it's like, you got to keep putting people in the pipeline, all right, and make that happen. So thanks for sharing, man. I'm going to open it up. I don't think we'll have enough time to go all the way around. Does anybody like to share some adjustments that they plan on making going into Q2 that they would like to share, and maybe inspire somebody to make the same adjustment or something similar? Anybody else want to jump in?
I'll go. Yeah, I'll go.
Yep.
Q1, I really got into the Facebook Marketplace stuff, and I've really hit my groove with being able to knock out 3 to 5 like really quick, 20 minutes tops, and then kind of figured out how it's best for me to reply and get those emails going and everything like that. And so now Q2, now that I'm building up a lot of emails of people that kind of fall off, I want to start that drip with the email, the weekly newsletter thing, or bi-weekly or something like that, to really hit all these people, because now I'm getting the emails, so I just gotta reach out to them. So that's my Q2 plan.
Cool, awesome. Alan, I know you're going on vacation, and that's awesome. That's what the 12-week year talks about, right? It's like at the end of it, you gotta decompress, let loose. Have you done some thinking? I'm sure you will at some point. But have you done some thinking of what you plan on kind of amping up?
Yeah, absolutely. I know we talked about this book a lot, but I really would emphasize this to everybody here. If you're thinking about, the next quarter, what I really loved about this method is it created more urgency in my day-to-day activity and weekly activity. Because instead of looking at a whole year and going, oh yeah, I have 11 more months to do X, Y, and Z, I started going, I have this week to get, closer to these specific goals. And what that does is you start looking at what you're doing in a given week, and then what you're doing in a single day. And I was able to win more battles with myself mentally, because I know every single one of us goes through this. We don't feel like making the call or doing the follow-up or starting work or getting up early or working, or all of these different types of things. Like our natural tendency is we just want to be still. And so I've been finding that I've been winning more of these mental battles, and realizing that it's these small, simple disciplines that we put in every single day that are going to give us a more productive week, and then a more productive 12 weeks, which is a quarter in business. And so I really have had the best quarter ever. And I know it's because I read that book and I implemented it. And it may not be for everybody, but if you want to really get more urgency in your day to day, to really get yourself to kind of put a fire under you, I think it's a really great thing. It gives you a lot of clarity in your business, on what to focus on, what to do. So, and then like Tony was saying, it was like this, almost like this experiment with myself. And it was, sure enough, like right around week 7, week 8, I felt burnout. But because I had set these goals with myself, and by week 7, week 8, I'm seeing great results. I'm like, I'm not stopping. So, week 8, week 9, I even took 1 week out because we had a bunch of fires personally that we just had to put out with, family and stuff like that. And so this is week 12. And now I'm looking forward to taking some time off and not doing anything and actually enjoying resting. I mean, I know that we all know we're supposed to set some time aside to go rest and relax. But most of the time when we go do that vacation, we're still stressed because we haven't done the appropriate things for the past, 3-4 months. And now I feel like I can go rest and reset and then set another 12 weeks. What I want to do, Tony, is I want to intentionally create more content for sales. So like moving to San Antonio type videos and just transferring all of the stuff that I've learned to that. And then hopefully, and I'm not sure about the rest of the goals, but I want it to be where I can get leads for my business from YouTube. So if anyone else has an interest in that, let's talk, because, we all get better together. But I would definitely recommend picking that book up. It's definitely been the best thing for me in a long time. So,
Alan.
Hey, let me chime in on that. I didn't know that you were reading that, which I got it from Tony, but
Yeah.
I'm reading that too. I just finished reading it, and I started my first week of my 12-week year this week, and I'm in my 4th day. And already in 4 days, I've probably done more than I would have normally done in a couple of weeks. I mean, we'll see if I'm strong enough to push through the full 12 weeks, but and mine has workout stuff involved, and I hate working out. So but I've done 4 straight days, and it's already paid off a little bit. So I'm already like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I just make sure, the book talks about keeping it simple, making, just very few, maybe even just one, and achieving it, but getting it done. And yeah, if you haven't read that book, it's not the easiest read, but I think it's got some great information. So I didn't know you were doing that, Alan. That's awesome. I totally agree.
Yeah, finished it. Tony and I, well, thank you, Tony, because he suggested it. And I think what's his name? Mathwig suggested it. And Mathwig was real high on it. If you listen to his one podcast about it, right, Tony? That's what motivated me too. And Tony did. And so I finished it right around Thanksgiving. And what I did is I did like a test run between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which that is partially why I had like a good January. But yeah, it's been really great. And so there is, I know there's a team application that they push. So maybe we can talk about doing that together, or maybe we can just, Tony, if we decide we want to do it together or something, I don't know, food for thought for.
Yeah, I love the book, obviously. And Agent Rise is the book that says do these things to build your business how you want to build it. And then he also ties in the 12-week year, which he did not write, but it's great for goal setting. And I suck at goal setting. Alan showed me his goal setting, and I was like, damn, like this is awesome. And he had it all laid out. And I still to this day, I don't really set goals. Like I focus on my daily activity, my weekly email, and that's about it. And sometimes at the end, I just pick up my head and go, like I think on Sunday, I was talking to my wife, and I was like, okay, I have 7 under contract at this price point. And we just started quickly calculating how much income that's going to be approximately, plus these 3 closings. I was like, all right, that looks pretty good, for quarter 1, right? So it's inspiring. but I just focus on the day and the week, maybe the month. All right. And then the results will come if you do the right things, and the right things are Agent Rise, Ninja Selling, 12-week year. Like if there's a trio of books that you have to read, in my opinion, those are the ones that I've come across that are just like game changing. Ninja Selling, Agent Rise, 12-week year. If you read those 3 books and commit to that, your whole business will take off. Let me get back to this. I love this conversation. We could stay on here all afternoon. So much for keeping it short. All right, but this is great. So my adjustments. I've been doing this again. I'm the smallest and the lightest I've ever weighed, but I still am not where I want to be. Right, I'm happy, but I'm not satisfied. To steal that from Dan Morrison, right? I got to eat cleaner. You know, I'm always on the run, and I eat Chick-fil-A chicken nuggets and fries minimum 2 to 3 times a week. That's terrible. Like, no wonder like my gut's not going down. And I'm putting in all this time, you know, each morning to like work out, and which I'm committed to. I love it. You know, it feels good, and I'm seeing results. But imagine what would happen if I just made better choices, all right, in eating. Time block, my work block. So I have my time block for my morning miracle, all right, and I go boom, boom. I do this, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this. It's ingrained in me, right? I love it. But I get to my work block and I go, my work block is 9 to 12 and like 2 to 5. And I get in that time and I get distracted, and I don't always know exactly what to do. I mean, I kind of do, but I kind of bounce around and it's not consistent. All right. I'm going to focus on money-making activities, because again, we're getting distracted and getting pulled away at certain things. It's like, what are the things that are going to get me closest to a paycheck or create an opportunity for a paycheck? All right. I'm going to record weekly videos for sales and productive agents. Got to do it. I'm a little bit behind right now. I got to do one this weekend to stay on track. But those are the things that I really want to do. I'm going to set face-to-face meetings, all right, and talking a little bit about agent attraction, and you know, just having that face-to-face meeting and talking about the opportunity at EXP, I think is going to help me get to where I want to go. I'm going to put all leads into one document. So I have my hot warm list, then I have a separate sheet that's my marketplace ads and leads, and then I have some other leads that are on paper. That's what I'm talking about, like not being organized. It's like put them all on the hot warm, so it's in one place, so I know where all of my leads are at, right? And then I'm going to plan a vacation, right? Every 3 to 4 months, they recommend, even if it's just a 3-day weekend, even if it's just like, hey, I'm going to take Friday off and just go walk the park and hang out, right? You don't have to spend a crazy amount of money. I just step away from the business at the end of 3 or 4 months, all right, and make that happen. I'm going to buy and prep for the Productive Agents podcast. I'm aggressively going after this. I've always had an interest in podcasts really since I left teaching, and I was planning on doing a podcast with band directing stuff. I wanted to do that and get into that. And then I listen to a lot of podcasts, and it's something that it will be an extension of the Productive Agents Facebook group, right? But I have a brother-in-law who is in sound recording, you know, in that department, and knows a lot of stuff. So he's lined up a list of equipment that I plan on purchasing here soon, and making sure that, hey, July, we're going to celebrate 3 years of business by launching the official Productive Agents podcast, which I'm excited about. I'm going to have 15 conversations a day. That's what Josh Sigmund told me to do, right? At the end of last week, he said, if you want what you want, you need to have 15 conversations a day. And I said, with who? All new people? He said, no, people that you know or people that you don't know. It doesn't matter, right? Talk to 15 people a day. And I'm going to talk to my sphere and past client each quarter. So Alan mentioned this, the letter of the week or the letters of the week. So there's 12 weeks, right, that we're talking about a lot. And there's 26 letters in the alphabet. That number's correct, right? Okay. Yeah, I never remember that, but it's 26. So that's almost 2 letters a week, right? So I looked at it today, and I haven't put it in place, but I looked at my A's and B's, all right, I have two separate database entries anyways. I was like, okay, Well, that means I need to talk to about 4 people a day in 1 week. All right, 4 people a day, that's going to be about 20. I have about 20 A's and B's last names. So if I do that, then guess what? Next week is C's and D's. All right, and guess what? After that is E's and F's, and then I don't know my alphabet to keep going, but you get the idea, right? So like that's pretty easy. And I looked at those names, and I was like, oh yeah, I could call that person. And I think if you don't have a list of names, that task gets really difficult to do. You're like, well, who the hell am I going to call? Make a list. I'm going to call somebody out, not by name here, but I asked them, I said, hey, do you have a database? Yeah, I have a database. Oh, can I see it? No, you can't see my database. Well, then do you really have a database? Is it really written down? I guarantee you Mark Chambers has a database of names written down, right? And that's his bulk of his business and referrals, and that's why he's a 2-time icon agent, all right? So that's what we're all shooting for. It's like you have to have a list of names. That's step one. And even talking about agent attraction a little bit, you have to have a list of names, all right? And then you can start taking activities. Here's things to think about that I read recently in Ryan Serhant's book. The 1,000-minute rule. The 1,000-minute rule, 8 hours of sleep, all right, leaves with about 16 hours left. 16 hours times 60 minutes is 960 minutes left. What are you doing with that 960 minutes? Obviously, you have to spend time with your family. Obviously, you have to eat. Obviously, you have to whatever, right? But even if I usually go to bed just before 11, sometimes 11-ish, right? And then I wake up, my alarm goes off at 5. So technically, I'm getting 6 hours of sleep. So technically, I have 1,080 minutes, right, to work with. And this is the multi-millionaire billionaires, right, that run the world. This is exactly how much time they have as well. But what are they doing with it? You know, like when you get to a certain point, you can start delegating some stuff and, you know, leveraging, all right? Speaking of leverage, the agent attraction stuff that can happen when you start presenting this model. But anyways, do a time audit for like 2 or 3 days. Go, okay. He talks about this. He did this for 2 or 3 days. He said every 15 minutes, he set a timer and he would sit down and write out what he did for that past 15 minutes. I was doing this for 15 minutes. The next 15 minutes, I did this. So then he would look at that after 2 or 3 days and go, I'm wasting so much time right here. This is where I need to be spending my time, right? The minute killers, analysis by paralysis. Everybody does this, right? We overthink it, all right? We just start doing it, all right? Just do it and learn and fail and figure it out and get better, all right? Minute killer is the red zone. Shit happens, all right? Shit happened in my losing out on a $500,000 listing. It sucked, but should I like throw a pity party or should I re-engage, right? Create opportunities for new work, right? If I post 5 more Facebook ads in the next 30 minutes, I guarantee you there's going to be more people to talk to, all right? So instead of sulking about it, stop wasting time, stop throwing a pity party, stop questioning if this is what you should be doing, and start doing the things that you know you should be doing, all right? He talks about the task triage. Spend your minutes here now. So these are conversations with your people / clients, all right? Your database, your people on Facebook Messenger. New business always gives you potential to earn more money. So you have a database of 100 people. And if you only talk to those 100 people, you're only going to get to a certain income, right? So that's why we have to create something, open houses, door knocking, for sale by owners, expireds, Facebook Marketplace to add more people to that 100, all right? So if 100 equals $100,000, then 200 people should equal $200,000, all right? So we need to look for new business. Spend 0 minutes here, task that can be done by someone else, right? If it doesn't require a real estate license, pass that on. Josh Sigmund had a great point. I never thought about this. People keep on telling me that I need to hire a transaction coordinator. Oh, hire a transaction coordinator. And like, I don't like giving money away. I'm one of the cheapest people you'll ever meet. I hate giving money away. But he said, well, don't give them all your business. Figure out how many transactions you can handle in 1 month. All right. Is it 2 and then you're overwhelmed? Is it 4 then you're overwhelmed? All right. But create so much business that you have to go, okay, I'm only handling 4. And then those 2 extra ones that I have created, I'm handing those off to the transaction coordinator. So I'm only paying a transaction coordinator on 2 deals instead of 6. They don't have to necessarily do all of them, right? It's like, I've never thought about that. That's a great idea. All right. Now, am I there? No, I feel like I can handle all of my business right now. But what I would like to build going towards the future is to go, damn, I have so much business I can't handle it. So now I'm gonna, refer this out and get a transaction coordinator to do that. I think that's where we all want to be, because then it's going to just elevate where we're going, right? But you also have to take time to show them what they're doing. So I want to bring on my mom as she's looking to retire. And I'm like, Mom, you're going to do my Facebook marketplace ads. And this is how you do it. And this is how I want you to respond. So at some point, we're going to sit down and teach her how to do that. She's just going to have my login to my Facebook and go pull up the Realtor page, post this. She loves looking at houses anyways. So it's like, go find them on the MLS, go post them. This is how I do it. And just respond. And by the way, when you see somebody that, is active, send them my way and I'll take care of it. Oh, by the way, I'll probably throw you some money. All right. Teach them and then set yourself free. All right. Spend your bonus minutes later. You get to an appointment early, call somebody, text somebody. All right. You go, oh, that meeting is done. I have a few extra minutes. What do we always do with a few extra minutes? I'm guilty. We get on our phone and we're like, TikTok, okay, whatever, but should you be using those minutes to create content, to create an idea, to jot something down, to be more productive? Spend your time wisely, get things done, and you will find yourself getting closer to the amazing big you, right? He kind of wraps up the chapter that way. What are your money-making activities? We're going to wrap this up here. These are my money-making activities, right? Prospecting, I hate that word. It's called conversations. Have more conversations. You want more business? You need to talk to more people. You can't talk to the same 5 people every day for the whole month and expect to get more business. You got to talk to more people. How do you do that? All of you have a Facebook page. All of you can go in and just start dropping comments left and right, and being sincere and making that part of your conversations. Drop a message. They'll probably either like or comment back. Then you comment back. And now we have what we call a conversation, and then ask them a forward question, and then you're talking to your sphere, phone, text, or messenger. You're talking to new business, open houses, or ads. All right. I'm doing marketing. All right. That was another word when I started. I was like, what the hell? I'm a business owner and I don't have a marketing degree. There's honestly a time I feel dumb admitting this. I didn't understand what marketing was. I was like, what the hell is marketing? Like, how do I market myself? Well, simply put, it's how do you advertise that you're a real estate agent, right? If nobody knows that you're a real estate agent, then nobody knows you're a real estate agent and they're not going to work with you, right? So you have to put it out there on social media. You have to put it out there on weekly emails. You have to put that out there on videos. You have to put that out there on hosting open houses and taking pictures about it and posting about it. And that's how that happens, right? And there's plenty of other ways. Personal notes and cards, I've been slipping on this, but they're really effective. Every time you send a personal note or a card with just a message, I guarantee you that person's going to respond, and at least in a text message. Hey, got your card. Thanks so much. Something, I promise you. All right. And then real estate reviews. Give them a value of their home. I guarantee you, if you start sending that out to 20 people, they'll be like, holy shit, I can't believe how much my house is worth. Is this number real? Like, yeah, bro, it's real. You want to sell? So these are the money-making activities that I'm focusing on. Right. I mean, there's probably a few more. What are some money-making activities that maybe I didn't mention that y'all are doing? Mark, is there anything that you want to add to that?
No, I mean, you covered, I mean, spot on. I totally agree with all of that.
Yes. Well, cool. No, I know what you do. We've talked about it, and I'm like, Mark like shares what he does, but he does it in a secretive way. And I know what you do. I mean,
That is not true. I'm an open book. So,
but yeah, I mean, so what are your money making activities, even if you're repeating some of the stuff that I just mentioned?
well, staying in touch with my sphere is, my thing. And what you'll find is if you stay in touch with your sphere, and the longer you do this, your sphere begins to send you multiple people. And then those people become part of your sphere and send you more people. So this last year or so, I've literally done, because I've tapped my sphere out, although it's coming around to where those people might be up for something again. But I've literally gotten people that will just call me. Today I actually picked up a package from a house I sold in Beacon Hill. These guys sold the house. They bought a new house with me. So it was 2 deals. And I've just gotten to be really good friends with them. Well, now they've probably sent me 2 or 3 deals. So, your sphere begins to feed. And so I just really think that, what Alan was talking about, the letter of the week, as you know, I break mine down into I break my sphere down into lots of multiple groups, and I touch them differently. That sounds terrible, but you know what I mean. And it just begins to feed itself to where I almost feel like, and I told you this, Tony, that I just, at some point, I'm like, I need to stop because I was getting too busy. Now, part of that was the market the last couple of years. Obviously, it slowed down a good bit, but those are the things that I try to do, and I do that in a variety of ways. Much of what you've talked about. So
Cool, Darlene. Yeah, thanks for raising your hand. So polite.
I was just going to ask Mark, when you first got started, what did those conversations sound like with your sphere? So you haven't talked to them about real estate before. Maybe you haven't talked to them about anything in a while. What were those conversations like when you first started reaching out to them?
Yeah, so the reason I break my sphere up into different groups is because my sphere is all the way from people I know really well and I'm friends with to people that I don't know so well. So when I first started, I threw every teacher that I supervised into my sphere, but some of them I didn't know that well. And so the conversation is different depending on who I'm talking to. But if it's someone that I don't know as well, I try to keep it very much, I'm not a big salesy kind of person, but I just try to keep it with, hey, just touching base with you, see how you're doing. You probably know I've already been in real estate, I've moved into real estate, and I'm looking to build a business, and I tie into things that we have in common. So if that's my old past of my old teaching history, we talked a little bit about that and how that's going to transfer to what I'm doing now. And so, I'm not a big pushy kind of person. I just try to have conversation, and then let them know that I'm there if they know anyone that needs, if you know anyone that needs any help, man, I'd love to have, your support, that kind of thing. And people respond to that pretty well. The other thing that you'll be surprised with, if you're just consistent with an email campaign, I do one through MailChimp and I do a holiday. Everyone in the sphere gets a holiday email. There's only 2 months that I don't have a holiday for, and I always send something else. But it amazes me how often someone will respond to that email. Oh, I'm glad you emailed. I forgot. I'm thinking about doing this. So it's just, if it's someone who I'm really close with in my sphere, it's a different conversation, and it always moves to real estate, but it's always like, hey, how's it going? How's Travis doing? How's Jim doing, or whatever. So it really depends, to be honest with you.
The 5-step call. I was listening to that, and I think I shared it on the Productive Agents group. But it's a ninja selling thing. It's a 5-step call. The bottom line is a salutation at the beginning. Hey, how's it going? Blah blah. And then you ask a forward question. How's the family? How's the job? occupation, recreation. Oh, I saw that y'all went to the park this past week. You went to Fiesta, Texas. How was that? And then the dreams, oh, what do you have planned for this summer? Are y'all taking a trip anywhere? So it's a personal connection, and then you kind of wrap up. They do it in 5 parts, but they ask a forward question twice, and they sandwich like what they're calling about in between. But again, exactly what Mark just said, right? He always kind of, it's a casual, hey, how's everything going? How's Bob? Oh, I saw that he did this or whatever. And you might want to, as you have your list of 5 people to call, do a quick Facebook stalk and go, oh, I'm going to mention that. They just did that. I missed that. But now I know. So I'm going to ask about that. So thanks for sharing, Mark. Appreciate it.
Yeah, actually, just to tie in on that, sometimes I'll do a text and it'll be often with what I just saw on Facebook. And I'll say, hey, I just saw you did this. That's awesome. Congratulations. How are you doing? And they'll usually respond to that and say, I'm doing great. How are you doing? How's business? They always say that because they know I'm in this, this business now. So even a text or a Facebook message works as well.
Colin, I want to ask you something. I know that you've done some video stuff, and you're working on video. And I heard this thing and it made me think about you yesterday. But it was the most recent Agent Rise podcast. And it was an old podcast, but it was like one of the most popular ones. It was with Karen Carr about YouTube and doing all that. And she was talking about like, when I'm creating video and taking the time to edit video, it takes a lot of time. But that's what she considers prospecting time. She goes, I would rather put in 3 hours creating this video content that's going to live on beyond that 3 hours. Right? She compared it to going, do I take 3 hours of producing this good video that's going to live on, or do I do 3 hours of door knocking? That I'm done with door knocking for 3 hours, I have to go back out and do more door knocking. And she goes, the thing is, when you start building these videos, they live on and on and on, and months or years down the road, somebody might contact you because of that video or whatever. Are you still trying to talk about money making activities? Are you still trying to do some video stuff?
Yes, and I think I think I needed that. So I've done a couple of videos and I've filmed a bunch, but I keep thinking, well, when I'm editing, I'm not doing anything. Like I'm not actually working, so then I don't edit. But I like how you put it, where you're actually prospecting when you're editing, and you shouldn't neglect that to do something else.
No, when she said that, it really clicked with me as well. Now, obviously, you probably shouldn't try to do that all day, right? Those are things that are going to, those are business, like future business, all right? So there's the sphere that, hopefully some of those people want to do something now, but you also have to have a chase pillar. Those are people that are responding to ads because they're looking at houses. So those are people that are closest to buying or selling and getting you a paycheck sooner rather than later, rather than waiting for your sphere to respond to something or waiting for somebody to respond to a video, right? So I think the video, even though it takes a while to do, I think it's time well spent, all right? But just make sure that it doesn't dominate your day/week, and you don't do anything else.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Alan.
Oh, I had to unmute there. Yeah, if I could also jump in on that too. Colin, I had the same struggle. I've been struggling with that for a couple of months with the video stuff. And 2 things that really helped me is either one, to make sure that I do the conversations prospecting type stuff in the morning and the video stuff later. But sometimes you feel kind of burned out by the time you hit the afternoon. It's like, that's how I feel. And then you start getting sidetracked by a lot of things. But the other thing that's really helped me is to go, Thursday is my video day. I'm going to do either my clips or my recording or my scripts or my editing, and just take literally the whole day. It's very rare that I will not do what we call the prospecting or outreach or whatever we want to call it. But and then so if you do decide to do that, like, okay, Thursday's my video day, or Friday or Wednesday, whatever day you choose, if you schedule your week with knowing that in advance, you'll probably be more efficient with your time on the other days, has been my experience. And then especially with the 12-week year, you got that urgency. But I think that really helped me, Colin, is to go, all right, I just need to designate a whole day. And it's sort of like you feel like a bunch of weight comes off your shoulders that you'll have all that time to do it. And then you'll be more efficient, on your other days. So
That's a good idea.
Does that help?
It does,
Yeah.
because I usually say I'm gonna just get it done this week, and then I don't pick a day. So I'm like, I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll just do it tomorrow, and then it happens to be really windy up here. So like half the days are shot because all you hear is wind. So I think that's a good idea of just picking a Thursday or Wednesday.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. Neil Mathwick talks about that. So from the beginning, I've always heard you got a time block, you got a time block, you got a time block. Well, Neil admits, he goes, I couldn't do the time block. Like, things come up, and then I'm like, oh crap, that's cutting into my time block, and oh crap, and so he does day blocking. Again, that's an Agent Rice thing, and day blocking is pretty brilliant because he goes, okay, on Mondays you do hot and warm, all right. On Tuesdays you're calling your current clients. On Wednesdays you're calling your past clients. On Thursdays he's working on his chase pillar. So maybe you're just doing Facebook Marketplace or whatever your chase pillar is on Thursdays. And then on Fridays was his fun day. He goes, that's when I recorded my podcast, when I did my videos. Like, as long as I took care of those things, maybe I call my current clients and it literally takes me an hour or two, but hey, my daily task is done. Now I can do whatever else the day takes me to, So yeah, the day blocking, I think you have to do one of them at least, or maybe a combination of them. And I think you'll start feeling more successful with, hey, I was able to do something. I knocked something off the list.